Hi friends, welcome back. And today we are going to discussing about locators in our Selenium with the TypeScript. Okay, Selenium having four different kind of locators. Okay, normal which we have the default locators, which is 8 locators. That is ID, name, tag name, sorry, tag name, and we can say XPath, class name, and CSS selector, and link text and a partial link text. Okay, these are the 8 locators we have, and also the new version of Selenium we have 4 relative locators: above, below, near, to left, to right. Okay, like this we have some locators. Okay, relative locators we can see in the later. Okay, and now these 8 locators we can see. Okay, if there are some any interview question, if they are asking apart in these 8 locators, which is a faster than the any locators, means you can use for CSS selector as a faster. Why? Because whenever the page is loading started, immediately the DOM will hit, and the backend it will hit the DOM, and it will get the locator, and it will stay until the page is loaded. Once the page is loaded, immediately it will return that value. Okay, but remaining locators, what will happen whenever the page is loading started, it will wait for that page to be load. Okay, and until the load completion, it will not go and search the element. Once the page is loaded completely, then only it will search. Okay, once the page is loaded, it will go search. In case if it is not identified, then it will go for give you for failure. Okay, CSS selector is not like that. It will go for before loading only. It will go and search, and once the page is loaded, it will return the value. Okay, now I'll take for this is my RNHRM for page loading concept. Okay, and here I'm going to use for name attribute. Okay, in this name attribute, we can say first new file tc02 locators dot ts. Okay, and we need to import builder. Okay, and by. Okay, two things we need to import. Okay, then a sync function run feast. Okay, run test we are using, and I'm going to use for constant driver await new builder. Okay, dot for browser, and then we need to use the Chrome driver. Okay, and dot builder. Okay, and this is the one we are going to use. Then we need to use for try block, and finally block we are going to use for await driver dot quit. Okay, quitting purpose. Okay, now I'm going to use for here await driver dot get, and then we need to use my RNHRM application for name attribute. Okay, locate username field using name attribute. Okay, and constant we are using, and name field. Okay, await, and here is like how we are using that Selenium place, right? Like same driver dot find element, and then we are using for by dot a name. Okay, and this particular name we need to specify this one. Okay, and here is the value, and that particular value I'm going to pass name attribute. Okay, Now this particular one it will having for which is we have provided the data right for that. Okay, I need to wait some time for the locator. Okay, and for this I'm going to use for wait driver dot await. WebDriver sleeper. You can see wait will work or not. Now I need to run. Okay, for this npx tx node src and slash tc locators. Okay, now I'm running. Oh, it is not load. No error and it's not open any browser. I'll use for some other wait driver dot wait. Okay, inside this I can use for uh, util. Okay, dot element is visible, and then we can use for our locator. Okay, and then comma how much time you want to wait, that much. Okay, this is our wait, and this particular wait is already imported. Okay, okay, now again I will run. Oh, why it is not run the program itself? Do we done any mistakes? Okay, sorry. Yes, we done the mistake. This is the one we are not used. Last we need to use, then only it will run. Otherwise, if you are not used, then it will not open. Yes. Okay, something got error. Unable to locate the method called CSS selector. Why CSS selector? We used a name attribute. Yes, name attribute. We used as a name attribute and we send the value. Oh, how come this one has a we use a name attribute, but it is giving CSS as selector. Why? That is a question mark again. Drivers are asleep. 2000 seconds. Okay, it is a problem in the starting itself. It is waiting for the time being. Okay, I'll give 5000 seconds because it is not loading immediately. It is taking time. Yes, but it is not provided or something. What happened? Okay, here we mentioned a close. Yes, it is provided admin. Okay, correct. Driver.sleep is working. Driver.sleep is basically waiting for complete. And here is the URL issue. Okay, it is not loaded immediately, because of that it is giving some error. Okay, and then we can able to use for there is a ID also symbol format, directly we can able to use. Okay, and one more thing, like tag name. Okay, tag name is basically how it works, right? Whenever you using the tag name, you need to capture the tags. Which tag you want to use, based upon that how you can able to the tag. I'm going to copy this element, copying element. Okay, now I'm coming to here. You can see this is my entire locator. Okay, and here you can see this is my tag name, and these are the attributes. This is a class attribute, and this is a name attribute, and this is a placeholder attribute. Okay, by using this we can able to do it, right? And here when you use the tag name, you can see for password also having the input tag. See, password also having for input tag. Sorry. Then how we can able to check, right? How we can able to do that? For this, we can able to use for loop section. Okay, for loop. Whenever you do the for loops, and there you can able to store all the elements, and then you can run your for loop, and then you can fill all the values inside those things. Okay, how you can able to do? Now my username it is there, and I want to use the tag name, and there are the nth element, and there are some of the places it is there. We'll go and see that as well. Okay, not now. I'll show you that into the future. Okay. Now here I'm going to store my elements. Element uh, input tags. Okay, and await, and this is my input tag. Okay, and if you use the directly, okay, by the signature of the name by the tag name is deprecated. The declaration was marked as a deprecated here in the locator in the okay. Okay, it is that entirely they are deprecated. Okay, a recent upgraded, maybe it is deprecated, but this is a byte dot tag name we are going to use, and we can able to show that how many it is there, and we can able to fill by using the index positions. Okay, how many is there, the length, based upon that also we can able to fill. Okay, how we can able to fill it, for loop, and we can use for that, and here input tag dot a length here we can use for tags. Tags is basically it will return for multiple values, right? Tag it will return for only one length. Okay, and then for loop, and here we can use for like await input tag, and we can use for I. Okay, and then we can use for send keys. and then you can use for this one. Okay, test space and place I and something if you want to fill it. Okay, how many tags it is there? That many tags. Okay, we can do it now. Another running. This one is basically tag base. Instead of tag directly, you can use for CS selector, and inside the tag you can mention where it is missed. Okay, see now you can both the values are matched. Okay, like you can see admin and the same place you can see for here. I'll keep it for 2. The for loop is not worked. See, admin password location also it is done, right? Like this we can able to do for tag name. The tag name we can take and the index position. The for loop is not work because of that I used for index position and then we can use it and we can run it. Okay. Like this we can able to do and even we can do for some placeholder like XPath creation. XPath creation purpose you can see here. Uh, Input tag has in some placeholder. This is my placeholder. Another tag. Okay. When this XPath, I'll explain that XPath is clearly in another videos. Okay. Okay. This XPath by using this, we can. I'll explain you that small information like XPath is basically we can create for two different things. One is absolute path and another one is relative path. Okay, these are the two things we can able to. Absolute path is nothing but it will start from the head and it will go for up to element. Means if it is having for HTML and then body and then inside that devs and inside another div and it is having for input, then it will goes like this. Okay, and in case if there is any modification, if there are small changes also happen, right? This particular absolute path will be modified, and this is a difficulty is there in the real time. Because of that we are using for relative locator is basically it will take directly attributes. Okay, now how it will take to forward slash and the tag name. Okay, tag name, and then it will give the square braces at the rate attribute. Okay, and then equal to in the double quotation it will give you for value of the attribute. Okay, the similar format if you say two forward slash and input and then two square braces at the rate placeholder and then this value. Okay, this is a my XPath and I'll provide you for here. And before the providing I'll do one thing, await driver dot asleep. I'll give for 500 seconds, sorry, 500 seconds, milliseconds, and then here I'll use for name attribute is there, right? Okay. Username dot a clear. Okay. I'm clearing and I'll give the weight and then I'm going to use for weight constant and I'll use for name. Okay. And here again I will use for name driver dot find element by dot x path, and I'll provide for my x path. Okay, pass the my x path. Then again I'm using for here name as admin. Instead of admin, I'll use for testing x path. Okay, this name I need to see inside that. Okay, this time I will use for 1000 seconds, and again I will run. CSS selectors also similar format. I'll show that as well. See, it is waiting some time because we used for 5 seconds to wait. Okay, admin and password and is cleared and admin. Okay, like this we can able to provide it. Okay, now we need to do for some operations. Okay, we need to use for this one. Which one? CSS selector. Okay, for this instead of this, I'll copy the this one. I'll comment. Okay, up to here is the common. Okay, okay, and now we need to use that by dot CSS selector. Okay, CSS selector, and I'm going to providing my CSS selector. CSS selector is basically it will give you for multiple ways. Okay, how, right? Basically CSS selector ID we are going to declare as a hash and ID value. Okay, if it is class, we use dot and class name we are going to provide. Okay, after that anything we can able to use for any new locators, then we can able to use for square braces and attribute equal to and attribute value. This is the formality we use. Okay, before old version what will happen, right? We are using for tag name at the rate symbol it is removing and to forward slash the same like a XPath, but we are going to change it. But instead of at the rate we are going to directly using for this value. Okay, we'll see how it works in that particular place. Okay, and here I'm going to use for two square braces and placeholders. Okay, without tag name also it will work. Okay, now I used here and wait name dot clear. Okay, and then I'm going to use for my value. Okay, now this is my CSS selector. See, those values are provided, right? And if you want, these are the like what are the things we covered? ID are not covered. ID is same for name, how we are using, right? The similar format name attribute. We use the ID also. We use the tag name and we use the XPath and CSS selector, link test or partial. And class name I'll show you. Okay, that also I'll show you. Link text, links. Uh, this is the paragraph. It is not a link. Okay, it is not the link. We can use for anchor tags. Links, and I'll use for Macri tools. And here is the like a register page. We have the link. Yeah, link basically it will refer as a that we call it as a anchor tags. Okay, we call it as a anchor tags. For this, I'm going to use for I'm going to comment on this entire old code. Okay, and we are going to change. await driver dot get value, and instead of 5000 seconds I'll use for 2 seconds. Okay, and this is the one. Okay, the anchor tags represent as a EA. Okay, we call it as a once you click it will navigate into another page. Okay, by using that we are going to use this is my link text. We need to give the complete name of that link text. Okay, otherwise it will not be clicked. Okay, now I'm going to use that constant link text, and here await driver dot find element. Okay, by dot link text, and we'll use for the value. Okay, this savage link text dot click. Okay, this is my functionality. This basically it will click for based upon that link value, which is the value it is there, that specific value it will take. Now you can see, say register page, it is registered, right? Now partial link test. Partial link test is basically it will take the partial value. Okay, it will take as a partial value. Means I don't want to pass the complete name. I want to pass for up to here. I don't want to TE or I don't want to pass. Then that moment we can able to use this particular concept, partial link test. Okay, and I don't want to pass for entire value, and I'm passing for up to here. Okay. Now await and partial link text I'm going to click. Okay. Now again I'm running. So it is clicked for register. You can see it. Like this we can able to do. Okay. And apart from all of this, only I'm not show you for class name, right? Apart from this, only for class name I missed out. Okay, you can class name. This is the class name. Okay. And you can see if I use this class name we can identify by using for dot value. See, it is having for 7 values. By using the index position we can able to hit. Okay, now again I'm going to here, this is another URL. Okay, for the class name I'm going to use another URL, await driver dot get, and I'll copy this, pasting. Okay, after 2 seconds we can do it here, constant class name await driver dot find elements. Okay, by dot a class name. Okay, and here I'll use for dot value. Okay, and then we can use for the position. Okay, now again I'm running this one. Now we are finding for list of values. Inside the list of values we are going to, okay, the documentation wait, and maybe the problem may be here a dot, because while we are searching time, maybe I see the value it is provided, right? Like this we can able to do it. Okay, I hope it this entire things you like it, except id I'm showed everything. Okay, id is directly same like a name, we can able to reuse that. Okay, id and id value you can pass it. Okay, apart from that I showed for all the e7 locators. I hope it this entire session you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and please do subscribe and share to your friends and colleagues. Thank you.